when someone does something once, it might be a one-time thing, but when they do it twice, it's likely to be a pattern. Um, in police talk, it becomes their MO. So everyone now knows the truth. Anthony Joshua is the reason the fight with Deontay Wilder didn't happen. Now remember, in previous videos I said both sides were at fault. You've been sold a bill of goods. Both teams knew the fight wouldn't be next. But if you are to blame one side, and I was being sarcastic a little earlier, it's definitely the Wilder side. In the previous videos, I mentioned that more people would blame AJ, and they did. Let's look a little deeper though. Wilder was offered $12.5 million to fight Anthony Joshua, way above his market value. A more than fair offer. Remember, Wilder's career high payday was $2.1 million. Alright? So he's offered $12.5 million. 2 into 12. So that's like 16. That's like 6 times his biggest payday. Big money. But he declined that offer, and instead of walking, Hearn upped the offer to $15 million. Okay? So Eddie Hearn offered $15 million. And Wilder verbally agreed, and then the contract nonsense happened. $2.1 million is your high. You get an offer of 12.5 and decline it. Okay? You decline it. You play hardball, and so they up it to $15 million. Okay? You agree, yet you find a way out of the fight. Okay. So, as I stated in the beginning, when someone does something once, it might be a one-time thing. But when they do it twice, it's likely to be a pattern. In police talk, their MO. Alright, that's their MO. So Wilder's good. He only did it once, right? Right? Wrong. This has become his MO, folks. This guy will be known as a guy who will be hard to negotiate with in the future, mainly due to his own stupidity. Remember, before Wilder fought Ortiz, okay, before he fought Louis Ortiz, he was offered a deal by Eddie Hearn to fight Dillian Whyte. Same promoter, same result as AJ. So let me ask you this. Boxers of today, would they rather fight a riskier fight and get paid less money, or an easier fight for more money, like double the amount? I think you know the answer. But here's the pattern showing itself again. So Hearn offered Wilder $3 million to fight Dillian Whyte, which was $1 million more than he got for Ortiz. Plus, Hearn offered Deontay US TV rights. So let's say that takes him to $5 million. Or you know, I'll lower it. I'll say 4.5 million just for argument's worth, okay? So White was viewed as a much easier fight than Ortiz. And Wilder would make more than double the money, more than double, to fight White instead of Ortiz. What does Deontay do? Same thing he did with AJ. He turned the money down. And then he made a counteroffer and asked for $7 million from Hearn. And he'd do it. That sound familiar? Anybody? He turned down an easier matchup with more money to fight Ortiz, a tougher matchup for less money. He should have taken the $3 million plus the TV, which probably would have made him $6 million if he wasn't careful. But the point is, that's Wilder's MO. That's become his MO. Moving forward, we're going to see what happens. And for those that say he deserves more money, let's remember how your favorite fighter, Floyd Mayweather Jr., always talked about his opponents. They hit the Mayweather sweepstakes. And then you see Marcos Maidana get $1.5 million when Mayweather got $32 million as a guarantee. So how much more did Maidana get from the Mayweather sweepstakes than he got to fight Broner one fight prior? Give me a break. So don't say Wilder deserves more because AJ is making $20 million a fight. It doesn't work that way. Boxing purses are about the fighter's market value. Don't try to change the game now because your guy is up. The two alleged things missing in the contract that took over a week to send back are now in place. The date and location, if AJ gets past Povetkin. The date is April 13th, 2019. The location is Wembley Stadium. Alright, so there will be between $15 and $20 million on the table for Deontay Wilder. Sign the contract and we got to fight. If not, I wonder what the excuse will be this time. If this fight doesn't happen by the fall of 2019, if it doesn't happen by, I'll say the fall of 2019, this fight will never happen. And if it doesn't, you can call AJ every name in the book if he loses to someone other than Wilder, because financially he's set for life. However, if Wilder loses, he can blame his handlers and he can blame the man in the mirror. On this channel, we keep it boxing, okay? And I promised myself I wouldn't get into any of these YouTube arguments or getting into back and forths and name calling and such. Just no battles like that. Just keep it boxing. I mean, debate, but don't call names out and tell people they don't know what I mean, like, just have a ongoing wars with different boxing channels. Nah. Just give opinion and keep that boxing opinion. Just thought-provoking stuff. And but some idiot decided to keep trying me on a message board. Now, I'm not going to call his name, or give his screen name. However, I'm going to inbox him this video on, you could send like an inbox or whatever on the message board, because he probably doesn't know I have a channel. And we got into a Keith Thurman Jr. argument, and then Gervonta Davis argument where he just decided to go on this tirade. And then I noticed his favorite fighter is Gervonta Davis. And he went on to tell me I didn't know anything and I've never been to a fight. So I'm going to show him. I'm just going to show him. You see, the first time I talked to Keith Thurman Jr. was about 4 years ago. Maybe 5. And he was shocked that someone knew him. So we're talking 4 or 5 years ago now. And I decided to ask him a couple of questions on the video. Just like an impromptu thing. No preparation. Didn't know he was going to be there. Barely knew his name at that time, to be honest. I was like, is that you? So, but the point is, when I interviewed Keith Thurman Jr., he was still signed with Golden Boy. Okay, it was back then. You copy? So, as a matter of fact, he was just a couple of fights removed from fighting on HBO, where he made his HBO debut. So, let's be real. Most people didn't know who Thurman was back then. He was this light-skinned cat who, when they interviewed him after the fight, he called out all of boxing. He just called all of boxing out. Now, this was Golden Boy as his promoter back then. So, when this jerk on the message board says, I didn't talk to Thurman or what have you, I just want to show him that I not only did, but it was when he wasn't even a name known by most people. Alright, just the light-skinned kid with the cornrows. And as I said, it wasn't a major interview. It was just some spur-of-the-moment thing. As a matter of fact, while we were in the MGM, nobody knew who he was in the lobby. I saw him in the lobby. Nobody knew who he was. He was looking for attention. And in the video, he talks about not being on the guest list. So Richard Schaefer or whoever it was had to come walk him in, because they wouldn't, like, the people at the table letting the boxers in didn't know who he was. Why? Because he wasn't known back when I talked to him. I mean, Timothy Bradley Jr. didn't have to be walked in. Floyd Mayweather Jr. didn't have to be walked in. Who else was that? Ruslan Provodnikov didn't have to be walked in, but Thurman did. So here's a copy. I just want this guy who was trying to verbally insult me via keyboard to see I wasn't just a fly-by-night guy on the message boards who could come in and fool people or what have you, or who he could fool people with. But since he was a regular on the message boards and I just kind of rarely ever comment, a couple of guys jumped in and took his side. So anyway, here's the video.
Keith Thurman, thank you, sir. Welcome to thefightjournal.com. We appreciate it. We will call this part 1 of the interview. We know you're in a rush, but let's talk about your last fight. First of all, congratulations on the victory. A body shot. Explain to the fans what it felt like, and have you ever stopped anyone to the body?
You know, I have a motto, which is you got to test them to the head and you test them to the body. I test them to the head first because I like knockouts, you know. But then once when you realize they can take a good punch, or even if you scored a knockdown to the head, as long as they rise up, the fighter is more tentative to protect themselves up high. So why continue to go up high? You might as well test them down low. And I got my early knockdown, which I was planning to get. I was happy to get in the second round with a nice counter left hook to the side of the head. In the third round, because he was still a durable fighter, I said, okay, we got many rounds. Let's deposit some damage down low to the body. And I landed several body shots, mostly on the right side, some of them on the left side, and I thought he took them pretty good. I know they were all clean. I thought he took them pretty good, but obviously when he went back to the corner, he had difficulty breathing, and they stopped the fight. You know, it's a tremendous feeling.
Okay. Now, we're at the Boxing Writers Association of America Awards. What brings you out tonight, sir?
Just being invited, man. I've been invited. They're supposed to have me on the list. There was some complications. Richard walked me right in, and I'm just here. I'm here to mingle, do little interviews, and just enjoy being out here in Vegas, man. I just had a terrific performance, and now I'm here vacationing, doing a little bit of networking and business, but just having a good time, and I'm really looking forward to the fight Saturday night.
Okay, now can we expect to see you here next year as a recipient of an award? Do you think that can happen?
Most definitely, man. I'm doing my best every single time I get into the ring to bring the fans in the world of boxing some of the most exciting fights in the welterweight division. So, an award ceremony in my honor, that could be in the near future.
Okay, sir. Now, a couple more questions. If you had it your way, what would be next for you, fight-wise?
My way is Mayweather, baby, the king, to go after the crown. I don't want him to get too old. I don't want the fans to say he's too old. I want him to look spectacular. He's going to win the WBA belt, and I want a shot at it. I'm the #1 contender in the WBA rankings. I want a shot at the belt. So if that means a shot at Mayweather, then so be it. And that's what I would do if I had it my way, for my next fight.
Fans, you've heard it. We're going to call this part 1 of the interview. Robert Uzel, Chip Mitchell. We're here with Keith One-Time Thurman at the Boxing Writers Association of America Awards. Keith, to the millions of fans watching worldwide, in closing, what would you like to say?
I'd just like to say thank you so much for all your love and your support. Your boy One Time is bringing the action. I'm giving y'all exciting knockouts. My motto is KOs for life. Just stay tuned to One Time. Even if we don't get the fights that we get, I'm going to give y'all a whole lot of entertainment. One love. Thank you very much.
All right, so that was the Keith Thurman video. Okay, now let me get to this guy's favorite fighter, Gervonta Davis, nicknamed Tank. I say that for a reason, because it wasn't always Tank. Before I get into that, let me talk about Baltimore people who proclaim they're in the boxing game, because I think this guy on the message board might be one of those Baltimoreans or Baltimoreans. This interview took place around the same time as Thurman, I think. I can't recall how far apart, which one was first or whatever, but I'd say I've interviewed Gervonta about 4 times. And let me start by saying this. 85%, and I know that's a high number, but 85% of the people who claim they know Gervonta didn't know what a Tank, what a Gervonta, or what a Davis was 4 years ago. Alright, trust me. First of all, 4 years ago, I used to see this kid, and unless you grew up with him in the gym, you didn't know him. I see this guy alone. I gave him a ride one time. I saw him do his road work, and he was just a kid jogging to a lot of people who claim, oh, I've known him since such and such. Okay. Unless you grew up in the gym with him, you don't know. You didn't know who he was. Then his name kind of floated around, but there were still people who heard the name, but they couldn't point him out in a police lineup. All right, let's put it that way. And they didn't know, they just heard the name Tank. They didn't know Gervonta. They didn't know Davis. They just was like, this kid named Tank. He'd be fighting. And oh, half of them thought they just meant a street fighter or something. But anyway. Now, the quality and the sound of my video I did are both bad. But I want you to pay close attention to his neck, Gervonta's neck. And I hope you're listening out there, son, because I'm going to school you a little bit. All right? This is to the message board guy. I'm not going to put you on blast, man. I'm going to send this to you, and you can do whatever. In the video, if you look at Tank's neck, he has 0, count them, 0 tattoos on his neck. Okay? Now, if you look at his neck today, you got tattoos all over the place. And they've been like that for a few years. But look at my interview with him. Look at his neck. And now compare that with what you see now. Okay? Trust me. This guy didn't... Message board guy, you didn't know that. Alright? Now I'm going to give you a little bit more history, son. Something most people don't know. And I'm speaking, even his hometown people don't know this. I knew Gervonta when he was Gervonta Rambo Davis. That's right. Before he was Tank, he was Rambo. I know you didn't know that, my man. But when I backed off debating you on the message board, you just wouldn't shut up. So there's a fact about your favorite fighter that you didn't even know. Gervonta Rambo Davis. I kind of wish he would have stayed as Rambo. Actually, I like that. I like that. I like that, and it kind of fits his style. But oh, by the way, he dropped the name Rambo because things didn't work out with his original team, and when he broke off with them, he wanted to break away from everything tied to them. We call it starting anew, with a clean slate or something like that. So since Rambo was part of that old team, he kind of washed his hands of the name, and he's been Tank ever since. All right, enough of that. I just took it a little personal. If you just saw how my man was coming at me, and then kind of got his ground troops out there to gang up on me, that just bothered me. Anyway, enough of that. Here's the video. Bad quality and bad sound, but that's not the purpose of showing this. It's just to show somebody that, you know, you're talking some stuff you don't even know. So check out the video.
All right, we are here with Gervonta Tank Davis, sir, live at GL ESF Entertainment, the big fight card here in Washington, D.C. What brings you out here tonight, sir?
I actually got invited, you know, and they said it was going to be some great cards, so I wanted to come out, and I like to come to local cards, just to show my face, just to be around the people I grew up around.
Okay, you hear that? The FightJournal.com exclusive, Gervonta Davis. Now, you said you had a fight. Tell us what's going on. What's the latest and greatest? What's happening?
The card or
yeah, your fight?
I fight October the 8th in Mississippi on ESPN 2. So I'm fighting a 6-round. We don't have an opponent yet, but hopefully we're going to come this week.
Okay, fans, you hear that? Give us the date again, October
the 8th.
ESPN 2. Now, you are 8-0, all 8, ended before the final bell. Is it tough not knowing, to keep that streak alive, is it tough not knowing who your opponent is this late in the game? Or?
I mean, we work for like all styles, you know, short, tall, southpaw, orthodox, so we got a lot of different stuff to get us ready for fights.
Okay, now speaking of working out, I was with a lady friend of mine, Kimberly, the other day, and she didn't believe it, but I saw you getting a little road work in. What was that all about?
Oh yeah, I was just starting my workout. So I run first, and then I start my workout. I do, I like 3 miles, then I finish my workout.
Okay. I hope you hear that, Kimberly. Now, let's talk about Tank outside the ring. What are the things you like to do when you're not training?
Just enjoy life, you know. Outside of boxing, you know, boxing is life, but you know, outside of boxing, I like to enjoy with my coach and stuff, travel, you know, just to see different things, help the youth, help my community, you know, do like community work around the city and stuff like that, just to give back.
Okay, and how old are you, young man?
I'm 19 of age.
You know, I know a lot of 19-year-olds who are not doing the right thing, so it's good. It's very positive to hear that you're doing things, you're getting out there, not just inside the ring, but outside the ring, opening yourself to being exposed to different things. Let me talk about your style. Describe your style for fans who haven't seen you. What type of style do you have?
I can't really say what style. I'm just fast. I'm powerful in both hands. I can be slick. I can be gutty. You know, just we like to mix it up.
Okay. Let me ask you another question. Who are your favorite fighters? Whether it's from the past, current. Let the fans know who you like.
My favorite fighters Lamont Peterson, Adrian Broner, and Floyd Mayweather. They my three.
Okay. Do you try to pick pieces of their game to use?
Yes, I always watch Lamont and Adrian. You know, I watch tapes on Floyd, but I'm asking to be around Lamont Peterson and Adrian Broner. So when they have camp in Baltimore, so it's a pleasure to train with them and be a part of that camp. You know, I'm from Baltimore, but I come to DC for when I come to camp. It's great to have them around.
Okay, now finish this sentence for me. If I was not a boxer, I would be
in trouble.
That's deep.
I'm in where I grew up. I'm in the hood. So when I was in boxing, I got into boxing because I was fighting and stuff. You know, I was a new kid on the block. I'm just getting out of foster kid because my mom was using drugs. So they took us away from my mom and stuff. So I had a lot of anger. I'm a new kid on the block. So the first person who said something, I was fighting. So I had built up anger. You know. So they got me into boxing and stuff like that. Once I started knowing I could be somewhere and I could do stuff. Like I won my first championship about 10. I started when I was 8, and I won my first national at 10. So once I won my first national, I knew I could continue doing it, and then I built faith, and that's what I'm trying to bring back to my community. You don't have to go bad side right, you know, a good way. That's why I start going back to school. You know, I dropped out because I wanted to get my art to boxing, and then I was traveling so far and so long that it was missing me days out of school. So once I got to come back into the school, I did that something to tell the kids that it's good to stay in school and still be able to do what you want in life.
ESPN, HBO, Showtime, I hope you're listening. This young man has a story to tell, to share with the world. Question, one thing in closing, I see your posse back there, I want you to get back with them. In closing, what would you like to say to the millions of fans out there watching this video online?
Just continue to support me and I fight for me.
All right, there you have it, thefightjournal.com. Robert Giselle, Chip Mitchell here with Gervonta Tank Davis. Thank you, sir.
Okay, that was the Gervonta Davis video and the Keith Thurman video. So there you go. When people talk about the top 3 welterweights, hopefully they won't forget Manny Pacquiao on that list. I think people forget about that guy. On Saturday, Mikey Garcia took care of Robert Easter Jr. I thought at points Easter controlled a lot of the action early on with his jab. I mean, his jab was on the money. A, he should have thrown it more, and B, definitely needed to put something behind it. He just didn't bring enough offense, and what the heck he was doing in the 8th round is beyond me, but that really kind of closed the show. He just, I'm still trying to figure it out, because the fight was, I would say going into that 8th round, I mean, it was close. He just stopped bringing the offense, and seemed like he just wanted to hear the last bell. That's all. Went into survival mode. And if you're gonna lose the donut next to the dash on your record, man, you gotta go out swinging. But he had just had that Adrian Broner in him. Just had the Adrian Broner in him, man. He just, I don't know. I don't get it. Anyway, you got to go out swinging, especially after all the talk and showboating prior to the fight. You got to come with more than that. But that's all I got today. I'm tired. I'm going to bed. Catch you on the next one.